What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video tutorial, it's gonna be all about the look that I got going in here. Fall season is already here in Canada, so every time I would hear fall season, colors that comes into my mind is orange, plum, mustard yellow mustard, mustard yellow. Anyways, those kind of colors. This is somehow inspired with those colors. I was trying to recreate something like an everyday wearable look, and it turns out to be nice as well. Like, I could see myself wearing this for an everyday look as well. So if you like to see how I did this look right in here, then without further ado, just keep on watching. As you guys can see, my brows is already done and I've already cleaned it up as well. I use the concealer that I will use later and I'll show it to you guys in a bit. For now, we're just gonna start with the eyes. For my eye primer, I am just going to use the Makeup Forever Eye Prime. So I am just going to apply this all over my lid. And I'll just use a sponge to push in the products. To set the primer that I've put in on my eyelid, I'm just gonna go in with MAC Studio Fix in the shade NW25. So I'm just gonna go in with this really quick in a blending brush, just so the color that we are going to use will blend in smoothly. We are going to use the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Brushes palette. Okay, now that our eyes are already set, we are now ready to go into our first color. And the first color that I'm going to use is the shade right there. That's the first shade that I'm going to use. Again, I'm just going to use the same brush, and this will be our transition shade. So I'm placing the product first on the outer corner of my eye, and then buffing it out already there, and then spreading it out in a windshield wiper motion. Shade, and then next mix these two shades together. So that is the second shade that I will layer on my eyes. So again, starting from the outer corner of our eye, and then once the product is already there, that's when I'm gonna spread it all out on my lid. And I'm just using a small blending brush for this. And then going back with our first brush, we just want to make sure that there's no harsh line on it. So we're just gonna blend it all out. And for our third shade, I'll just pick up that color right there. We're just gonna use a flat brush for that one, and then that shade will go on the entire lid of our eye. And then again, going back to the other brush that we used for the darker shade, we're just gonna make sure that everything is well blended. Just to make sure that there's no harsh line in it. I'm just gonna go back and forth on it. So since there's no vanilla color on that palette, I'm just gonna have to borrow a vanilla color from the Morphe 35N palette. And we're just gonna swirl on that one and put it on our brow bone. Okay, so to finish our eye look, I mean like at least the upper part of our eyes, I'm just gonna curl my lashes and put on some mascara. For my mascara, I am still using It Cosmetics mascara. And I'll just apply probably a coat or two on my eyelash, and then we're just gonna pop in some falsies on that one. Okay, so the lashes are done. I'm just gonna put in some lashes. So for my lashes, I'll be using our Demi Wispies, and let me just pop it in really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so the lashes are now in on our eyes, and let me just cover the lash bands because I could see some of the lash glue in it. So I'm just gonna go in again with this shade right in here and just pop it as close to the lash line as possible, because I don't want to do any wing liner on my eye. I just want to keep it as simple as just like this, because since we're already having like a smoky eye, so it's a dark color already, so I just want to keep it into minimal as much as possible as well. Okay, so before we completely finish our eye look, because obviously we're still missing some color on the lower part of our eyes, so what I'm just gonna do is that I'm gonna start with the face first, put on some foundation and concealer. But before going in, I am just going to use the Sephora Beauty Amplifier Afterglow Primer and Luminizer. Yeah, I have to like cut it out because I can't squeeze it out anymore. So I'm scraping off the products and I'm just gonna brush it on. Use a concealer foundation brush and I will just place product on my face. This will give us an instant glow that we need since it's fall already. Sometimes face tends to dry up when it's getting cold, so I just want to make sure that I still have that glow. And then I'm just gonna buff it out using my hands. So like, ta-da! Do you see that glow right there? So it gives us an instant glow that we actually need. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with our foundation, and for my foundation I'm using Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation Plus Concealer. Okay, the first time that I've used this, my face was so cakey because I use it with a brush, but later on I figure out I think it's way better to use it with a beauty blender. I would say this is a full coverage, so I don't usually put on that much foundation, liquid foundation on my face. I just usually tend to focus on my problem area, like where the blemishes are, the redness are, so that's where I usually place the product. Then like I said, we're just gonna go in with a beauty blender and then just bounce this on our face. Since this product is already like a 2-in-1 kind of deal, so what I do is that I sometimes use it as a concealer as well. So I just bring it up all the way up in here. Like I just buff out the product as well, all the way my under eye, to somehow give a little bit of a coverage already. Okay, another thing that I like to do as well is to spray the primer water on the beauty blender like this, and then I'm just gonna go back in again, and especially on the area that I feel that I am dry, that's where I put in most of it. And probably it doesn't look like that it's matching right now on my skin, but this foundation, I find it that it oxidizes, so somehow it gets darker in the long run. Okay, now that foundation is already done, I'm just gonna go in and conceal a little bit more because there's still some, you know, dark circles under there. I'm just gonna go in with Maybelline Fit Me in the shade number 25, and I will just apply this on my under eye just a little bit, particularly on this inner corner, because that's where the discoloration of my eye is. And we're just gonna go back in with the same beauty blender. Okay, now that we have completely covered our dark circles, we're just gonna set our face. Since we use a liquid foundation and a liquid concealer, whenever you use a liquid product on your face, always make sure that you set it with a powder, because that will help the product to last longer. So for setting my face, I will be using the RCMA No Color Powder. I'm just gonna grab a big powder brush, dip in the product, I put it in a cap, or top off the excess because there's gonna be a lot of excess in it. So this powder will mainly focus on our face because I'm going to use a different setting powder for the under eye. So I like to top the product on my face. Don't forget the nose, especially the T-zone area. Okay, now that the face is set, for my under eye, I'm gonna use Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. And we're gonna use the shade Lyric and Levitation for our under eye in a brown brush like this. I'm just gonna dip it on Lyric and Levitation. So this product will mainly focus on the concealer area, because that way it will still give us that brightening effect and it won't give us like a tired look eye. So I just usually pat the product underneath it. Okay, now that it's done, we're just gonna go in and finish the rest of our eyes since our concealer and our foundation is already done. So most likely for finishing our eye look, whatever we have done with our upper eye, we're gonna do it as well on the lower part of our eye. First, we're just gonna go in with the transition shade that we have used a while ago and put it all over under our under eye. Once that transition color is already under our eye, we're just gonna go in with the two dark colors that we have placed. We are just gonna put it up to the center of our eye, and we're not gonna go all the way through here. We're just gonna stop at the center of it. And I'm just using a pencil brush for that one. Okay, so to dip in the color, the dark color underneath my lower lash line, I'm just gonna go back in with a flat brush like this and just smudge it underneath the lower lash line and stopping at the center of my eye again. And just to make sure that everything is well blended, I'm just gonna go back in with the pencil brush that we have used a while ago for the transition shade with no product in it. I'm just gonna quickly blend out everything. To put in a little bit of a pop on our eye, I'm just gonna go in with these two shades right in here. Put it in the inner corner of my eye. Okay, so I know a while ago we put already a matte shade underneath our brows, but I'm just gonna go in with this shade right in here and place it underneath my brow bone just to give it a little bit of a sheen into it. To completely finish our eye look, I'm just gonna pop in some mascara on my lower lash. I know they are non-existing, like you can barely see them, but this will seal the deal for everything. Okay, so now going back to our face, we're just gonna contour our face. So for contouring, we are going back with the Kat Von D Light and Shade Contour Palette, the shade Subconscious and Shadow Play. We're gonna combine this two colors in here. We are just using a Royal and Langnickel brush like this. Tap on those two products in there and create a fish face and then buff out the product on our cheeks. Of course, let's not forget our jawlines. And I'm just gonna quickly contour my nose as well, and I'm just going to use a flat brush like this. Dip it on the same shade that I have mentioned a while ago, which is Subconscious and Shadow Play. I usually like to start contouring on the bridge of my nose. Place the product there and then blend it out downwards and then all the way to the tip of the nose. And I'd like to clean up the center of the nose using the two highlight shade from the same palette, which is Levitation and Lyrics, and mainly focus this on the center of my nose bridge. Clean up the sides as well. So before we completely move on with our blush, I'd like to put in my highlights first. And for the highlight, I am going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sun Dip Glow Kit, and we are going to take in the summer shade. So in a fan brush like this, we're just gonna dip the product on summer. I'd like to place this product on the top of my cheekbones, on the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin as well. And since we're already in the highlight, I think I'm gonna pop those color as well on the inner corner of my eye. And now we can completely move on to our cheeks. I will be using this blush right in here. This is from The Balm, and I got it from my Ipsy bag. It's like this shade right in here. And I will just go in with an angle brush. Obviously, we're gonna put this on the apples of our cheeks and make sure that it's well buff. Always buff upwards, because that way it will blend out together with the contour that we have done. And then I'm just gonna go in with that brush that we have used to set our face a while ago, and I'm just gonna blend it all out, because that way It's blended all together. For my lips, I'm just going to line my lips using the NYX lip liner in the shade 822 Coffee. And once it's all done, we're just gonna go in with the MAC lipstick in the shade Wearable. And for my hair, I just basically curl it up using a flat iron. But if you guys are interested in those kind of videos, please let me know. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you like this video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. Please do check out my Instagram page because I usually post most of my work in there. So most likely this look that you see in here, I've already posted it right there. And I hope to see you guys on my next video. Bye!